Transport for London might now need to refund millions of pounds worth of parking fines because of a landmark ruling by a tribunal on the use of CCTV to fine people for parking on red routes. This is the tribunal decision just here, and this specific question regarded the use of CCTV in lieu instead of a civil enforcement officer placing the penalty charge notice on a vehicle for parking on a red route. The tribunal sets out the question before it as follows. The question before the specially convened panel concerns the circumstances in which the relevant enforcement authority, Transport for London, is permitted by the regulations to serve a penalty charge notice on the basis of a record produced by an approved device, in other words, CCTV, instead of a civil enforcement officer. Now, the bit in purple is the relevant bit to make this easier to understand. In particular, we, the panel, are asked to determine whether a penalty charge notice may be served in circumstances in which the contravening vehicle is stationary on a part of a road that is a red route in its general sense, but which is not marked with double or single red lines on the carriageway. The cases before the panel, I'll come back to those in a minute, principally concern penalty charge notices served by post in circumstances in which, based on the evidence from an approved device, CCTV, a vehicle was in contravention while stationary on a red route as defined in the applicable traffic management order and the regulations. But on that part of the carriageway, only marked so as to indicate bays in which a vehicle may stop, subject to conditions. Now, I was talking about a vehicle being stopped stationary on that part of a road where those lines were not visible and CCTV was used. So the principal point here is the tribunal has found that it was not lawful to use CCTV in a general sense instead of civil enforcement officers on these sort of areas. Now, the dispute came about where these special bays were not marked with double or single red lines on the carriageway. And instead, there is, as you can probably see it unfolding, some ambiguity as to whether or not those lines were actually there. Now, these PCNs served, there are around 430,000 PCNs issued each year by Transport for London. At the full rate of £160, that would be just under £70 million, and several thousand appeals ongoing. And reportedly, they would not disclose the full figures because it would be, quote, embarrassing. Now, even in an attempt to overturn the ruling, the tribunal hit back to say that Transport for London was described as quasi-prosecutorial because it had continued to issue fines despite being told that they were illegal, and the chief adjudicator had refused to review the case. This tribunal ruling, 22 pages long, is now considered to be a key and landmark case in this issue. Reportedly, the chief adjudicator said that he's of the opinion that if a public authority becomes aware of an imposition of a penalty may be unlawful, it should seek to clarify the position before issuing more penalty charge notices. Transport for London said that they are committed to keeping London moving safely and efficiently, and compliance on the Transport for London road network is essential, etc. And enforcement by our compliance officers using CCTV is an important part of tackling this, and they're exploring next steps. Non-compliance impacts London's air quality, creates safety risks, etc. But this was a case that represented thousands of people in the same position. This was a case with numerous representative claimants and appellants within the case. And so this is considered to be a landmark case. And so the conclusion of the case is that Transport for London broke the government's own guidance by using CCTV rather than civil enforcement officers, traffic wardens, to fine motorists parked on those bays on the red routes throughout London. So let me know in the comments if you've been affected by this, if you've received one of these fines, if you have appealed, let me know what happened. If you have received one and you have not appealed, let me know whether this changes your view. Let me know your view generally. Do you think that CCTV is okay? Do you think they should be able to use CCTV, or that they should use a traditional civil enforcement officer? The judgment, as I say, is dozens of pages long. I will probably go through it in more detail for those that want a more in-depth discussion and review on that landmark case. In the meantime, that is the summary as it is. Please do remember to like the video and subscribe. And as always, thank you for watching.